So we ended last lecture with this table of quantities and costs and asked you to fill it out on your own. Now let's take some time to do it together as a class. And you'll notice there's a lot of missing information, but some given information. Let's start when quantity is 0. When quantity is 0, we're not going to have any variable cost. Why would you hire workers to produce nothing? But we do have a total cost in that TC column. That total cost represents all of our fixed costs. Our fixed costs we have to pay even when we're not producing. Our fixed costs in this case are $720. And since fixed costs don't vary with output, our fixed costs are always going to be $720. From here, we also have enough information to calculate average fixed costs, which is just total fixed cost divided by output. So when output is 1, it's relatively straightforward. 720 divided by 1 is going to be 720. And let's take a minute to stop and think about our intuition here, which is fixed cost, average fixed cost should decrease as output goes up because fixed costs aren't changing and output is increasing. So when you divide by something that's getting bigger and bigger, you're going to get a smaller and smaller number. And we can see that our results match that intuition. When total fixed cost remains 720 and output is 2, our average fixed cost is 360. When output is 3, our average fixed cost is 240. And finally, when output is 4, our average fixed cost is 180. Our results are matching our intuition in that average fixed cost is decreasing as output goes up. From here, we can look at these various quantities. Let's start when quantity is 1. And it's relatively straightforward to calculate the total cost here because we have the variable cost and the fixed cost. So 7 plus 720 is 727. We can also calculate our averages. Our average variable cost is just that total variable cost divided by the output. And our average total cost is just that total cost divided by the output. Finally, we get our marginal cost, that additional cost. How much more are we spending when our output goes from 0 to 1? Well, we're spending $7 additional. That increase in total cost relative to a 1 unit increase in output. And the only way that our total cost will change is from a change in the variable cost. Our marginal cost in this case is 7. Moving on to that next unit, that second unit of output, we're given some new information, which is that total cost in this case is 740. Well, we have that fixed cost is 720, so we can use the information that total cost is just the sum of variable and fixed costs to calculate our total variable cost at 20. 740 minus 720 is 20. And now we have all the information we need to calculate averages. At $20 of total variable cost and 2 units of output, our average variable cost is $10. And at $740 of total cost and 2 units of output, our average total cost is $370. We can also calculate our marginal cost here because our variable costs increased by $13 to get 1 additional unit of output. Moving on to that next row, the given information has changed. Now what we have is the average variable cost given. So how do we get from a total to a total from an average? We multiply by the units of output. So if average variable cost is 15 and we have 3 units of output, our total variable cost is 45. From here, we can sum our variable and fixed to get our total cost, and we can also use that total cost and the output to calculate our average. $765 divided by 3 units of output averages us $255 per unit of output. Finally, we can calculate the marginal, the additional amount of cost to produce that 3rd unit of output. Previously, we had 20 units of variable cost. Now we have $45 of variable cost. That increase in cost, that additional cost is $25. Moving on to this last row, the given information is average total cost. So So what we want to do is move from an average to a total. What we have to do is multiply $202 by 4 units of output. That's going to give us $808 of total cost. With this information and knowing that our fixed cost is $720, we can calculate the total variable cost of $88. And from here, we can calculate both our average and marginal cost. Our average variable cost is going to be that 88 divided by 4 units of output, $22. And our marginal cost is going to be the additional cost from producing this 4th unit of output, $43. And that's going to be both the increase in variable cost and also the increase in total cost. Let's look at the next slide and see if our results match the results that we were given, and indeed they do.